Welcome back, guys. It's a shame that this is the final season of Power Ghost because they are cooking with fish grease in that writer's room. This episode was by far the most thrilling of the season, with Drew and Diana trying to outrun the sins of seasons past, with Monet, Kane, and Tariq all on their heels with hearts of retribution. I'm here to break it all down in typical top 10 WTF fashion. Before we begin, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and bell notification to immediately receive these videos. Also, big thank you to all of my channel donors. If you'd like to be the next one, drop $1 on that Cash App for us. And lastly, a spoiler alert is now in effect for all things Power. Here we go. WTF moment number 10, pistol whipped. On the run, and with the target on their backs, Drew and Diana make their way to a motel to hide out. However, Diana foolishly pays for the room and credit, leaving Monet a fresh trail to sniff out when she finally catches up to their location. She does, and questions the motel clerk about rooms under the name Tejada. After responding to Monet's inquiries with a defiant spirit, Nene ups the pistol and gets what she came for by way of cold hard steel. This scene was indeed under duress, but that beating was hilarious if we're being real, especially that final knockout blow. WTF moment number 9, truth bullets. Monet finally confronts Druana face to face and furiously chides them for daring to make an attempt on her life. Drew, however, meets her aggression with his own and calls her out for killing Lorenzo, the Ezekiel fiasco, and of course, Gordo. He also painfully stresses her need to control them over the years, pleading that they've yearned for freedom, but she refuses to release them. Then, Drew refers to his mother as something that you never do under any circumstances, no matter what she's done to deserve the designation. After boldly declaring that though, Monet lashes out at her now estranged children, but they narrowly escape her wrath, and even worse, the wrath of Kane and his bullet barrage. WTF moment number 8, inconvenient witness. Carter and Kamal pay visits to Monet and Tariq respectively, and reveal to them both that they've secured an eyewitness in Monet's shooting, someone who's described a man at the scene favoring Tariq in look and build. Now this family is complete and utter bull, and moreover, a plan concocted by Carter in order to turn Monet and Tariq against each other, thus making them easier to apprehend when the time is right. But is that Carter's only motivation for getting the two drug moguls to self-destruct, or is there another angle he's working? I'll get to that in just a moment. WTF moment number 7, Kane and Abel. In a furious emotional exchange, Kane finds Drew at one of the many Tejada stashes and rebukes his brother for trying to kill Monet. Drew pushes back on Kane's Monet defenses, claiming that her actions against their father were unforgivable and worthy of death. He also fires back at Kane's lack of passion for Lorenzo, yet unfettered loyalty to Monet. Kane, though affected by the death of his father, seemingly reconciled those emotions by becoming the de facto head of household and the image that his father would have smiled upon, at least to him, as he was unable to fully gain his blessing in this life. But any attack on Monet is where Kane drew the line, and Drew used these lamentations to gain the upper hand on his brother, fighting for his gun and drawing it upon Kane, before ultimately fleeing after Kane promises a bullet to the brain. WTF moment number 6, baby on the way. Janet gives Monet a much-needed reality check while trying to give her medication. She blames Monet for being the real problem in her family and declares that Mo didn't do right by her children and that she's not even in tune with things that are heavily affecting them. Then she drops a bombshell on Monet, revealing Diana's pregnancy, something she's learned through observation alone. This information serves as an epiphany for the murderous matriarch and sets in motion her subsequent mercies carried out later. WTF moment number 5, Captain Save-A-Celine. Drew drops Diana off prior to securing more funds for their new life on the run. Once Diana approaches the door, it's none other than the infamous Salim who answers and grants her entry. Once settled in for a time, the two begin to talk and reconcile about their past mishaps. Then, Diana displays vulnerability upon Salim's overtures, and he offers her asylum at his parents' home in Greenwich, Connecticut. Before departing though, Diana stresses to Salim that no one can know of where she's at or going, and he obliged her request. However, just like the sucker we know him to be, everything changes when Tariq shows up, gun in hand. Salim quickly folds, informing Tariq that she was there and where she fled to. Upon Tariq calling him what I've been calling him for nearly a season and a half, Salim attempts to disarm the Junior St. Patrick, only to catch a bullet to the chest for violating real niggas. Now I've been waiting a long time for this day, and we'll be smoking on that Salim pack throughout the week on this channel, so stay tuned. WTF moment number 4, Family First flashback. Monet reminisces on taking a teenage Drew on a drug run against his wishes. The middle Tejada brother expresses his desire to pursue art after school, but his mother, back then as in present day, places her business above her family's wishes and forces Drew to accompany her. In hindsight, Monet was apprehensive to make this run solo due to the grimy nature of the dealer. Plus, her being a lone woman around an unknown man was a hodgepodge for disaster. And she was correct in this thinking, because not soon after they arrive, the dealer gets aggressive with Mo and attempts to attack her in a botched drug deal. But Drew doesn't allow this and shoots the man before he can harm Monet, allowing her to escape with the drugs and money. This event emotionally harmed Drew and served as his entry into the game by way of blood, an initiation into the violent aspects of street poisoning. This retrospective was also vital in softening the heart of Monet against her children, ushering in the spirit of understanding, love, and luckily for Drew and Diana, restraint. WTF moment number 3, death by another name. Kane inevitably catches up with Drew at the Tejada family stash spot, following his business with Noma. He pursues his brother at gunpoint, but is interrupted by Monet at the perfect time. Monet demands Kane to stand down from killing his brother, and briefly speaks with Drew in an effort to save Diana. But that's not the worst part. Following this tense exchange, Drew calls his brother out for being a mama's boy, a thumbscrew for Kane that gnaws at him throughout the episode. Having heard enough of his brother's insolent tone, coupled with being pissed at him to begin with, Kane beats the absolute brakes off Drew, kicks him out of his penthouse crib, removes him and Diana by extension from Noma's organization, and most critically, disowns him as his brother altogether. A most equitable exchange for a nefarious act, if I ever saw one. WTF moment number 2, a bullet or a baby. In one of the season's most anticipated scenes, Tariq finally catches up with Diana, who's hiding out at the now slain Shea Butter Allah compound. Reek breaks in and chases down his prey, with Diana pleading for her life and justifying her treacherous behavior by feigning ignorance and regret. Just before Tariq is able to pull that trigger, Monet intervenes, gun in hand, and reveals to Tariq that Diana's pregnant, the latter claiming it to be his. The Tejada matriarch outlines their differences, but exchanges his life for her children's, securing the safety of her family and grandbaby. Overwhelmed by these revelations, Tariq flees the scene and in much need of a well-deserved drink. And WTF moment number 1, the Anya has landed. After the longest of days, Tariq reconnects with Braden and is brought up to speed on their latest system to move that dope. Then, in a wild switch for the notoriously sober character, Tariq hits the blunt and takes a sip at the bar with his brother from another. That is, until he spots the elusive Anya Covington, who he's been leveraging against Noma since the tail end of season 3. By making her acquaintance here, he not only locks down a pretty piece of papayao in the cheek clapathon to come, but ensures that Noma won't be a problem for him or his drug enterprise once she inevitably discovers that he's violated the terms of their truce. Some lingering thoughts before we end today's video. I'm starting to think Detective Carter is dirty, y'all. And not only that, but he may even be working as an inside man for Zion beneath the radar. Notice his body language once Kamal updates him on Zion and his connection to Roman, who they collared in episode 3. His statement on snitches is wildly compelling, because it's historically a dynamic that's helpful to the police. But Carter speaks of Roman's choice to inform against Zion as a negative, which is weird to say the least. Not only that, but he's also strangely defensive of Zion when Kamal offers to chase him down as a lead following the Roman interrogation. Instead of pressing towards the new evidence, Carter chooses to divert from it altogether and pursue the Tejadas and Tariq over Zion, stating that he'll put, quote, one of his guys on it when the time commands. I get the sense that Carter could likely be working for Zion in an unknown capacity and could leverage that liaison against Tariq in future episodes. Remember, Zion did say that the only reason he met with Tariq was due to his last name, and if he already had Carter in his back pocket, it could all be a setup to begin with. We've seen law enforcement work against Tariq independently, and the streets do the same, but never both together. The real question would be, why? Carter's motivation, as we know, is the tragic loss of his wife. What if Ghost unknowingly contributed to that during his career in the streets, and Tariq is paying for the sins of the father? It will lend an entirely new credibility to Carter's posthumous assessment of the Ghost Man, but I'll expand on this more in the week to come. While we're on Carter, Kamal better keep his head on a swivel when engaging the mysterious detective, because after episode 4, one thing is for certain: he is hiding something big, and undoubtedly hypocritical, something he'd likely kill to keep concealed. Move cautiously, Brother Tate. A final point on Carter, his plan to get Tariq and Monet to turn on each other has officially backfired. Their final standoff saw them placing all their differences to the side in the name of a brighter future via Diana's baby. And at least in the short term, that's going to present a nuisance to a cop with something to hide and orders to carry out, allegedly anyway. Though the Tariq/Tejada conflict is seemingly settled, it's not over just yet. Diana began to reveal to Monet at the motel that there was somebody else who intervened the day she was shot, something Mo was unable to process due to the heightened level of anger and emotion at the time. However, once they're able to dissect everything again, Tasha's exposure will be all but inevitable. Kane went through a pivotal development this episode, as the ties that previously bound the eldest Tejada to his flock have all but been severed. This was heavily assisted by his siblings, Drew in particular, who committed the unthinkable against his mother Monet. But additionally, his advancements with Noma created a lane for this as well, and this declaration of being his own man will likely be carried out through his actions for the remainder of the season. While we're on Kane as it pertains to Noma, he better keep his game tight, because Davis is right behind him in the realm of Noma's desire. He's the type of personality that she's naturally drawn to, powerful, resourceful, and assertive. And moreover, he'd be more of an asset to Noma given his extensive connections and legalese knowledge. If Kane does slip in any capacity, Davis will be right there to pick up those pieces. They've all but confirmed it in their body language and banter towards each other. But the game is always good to those cheeky motherfuckers, ain't it? Braden exposing his full plan to L will prove to be a critical mistake for the gang-goofy hustler in training. For all his brilliance in the realm of technology and systems, he knows absolutely nothing about the ways of the treacherous woman. And it's a lesson that he'll unfortunately be forced to learn once his scheme is jeopardized by the woman in his bed. Whether she's a mole for Detective Carter or not is undetermined, but what remains a constant is the art of saying as little as possible, vetting people for their trustworthy capacity before unfolding your plans to them. This is a game lesson that he obviously skipped, but it's like a frustrated Kanan Stark once told his son Sean, all you niggas forgot the first rule of don't tell him shit. And lastly, with the unceremonious demise of Prince Salim Fabulous E Ali Ababwa, will we ever truly know the father of Diana's child? Sure, she can say it's Tariq, but even worse for him, she can now put a baby on him with zero alternatives. As happy as I was to see Salim get the fuck out of here, it's tough to see it cost another player 18 years. But that's the game, little nigga. Interestingly enough, Tasha got pregnant with Tariq around the same age as Diana is pregnant with her child, like 1920-ish. History is undefeated in the Powerverse. But that'll do it for this one. What were your thoughts on Power Ghost episode 404? And what do you think's to come next week in what's sure to be a mind-twisting, explosive mid-season finale? Be sure to drop me your opinions in the comments below. As always, I thank you for watching today's video. If you liked today's video, go ahead and drop $1 on that Cash App for us, hit the like button, share it with your friends who are Power fans, and subscribe for more content such as this. This is Rudy P. Magic of Rudy P. Magic Beats, and have a blessed one until the next one. Peace, y'all.